Hey everyone, welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel. I am Frederick and I'm happy to have you here today. In this video, we are going to talk about browser storage. And if I talk about browser storage, I'm talking about local storage and session storage. Local storage and session storage are two web storage options available in modern web browsers to help web developers store data locally within the user's browser. They serve similar purposes, but with some key differences in terms of lifespan and intended usage. So, in session storage and in local storage, what are the differences between? Let's first talk about local storage. Local storage is a type of web storage that allows data to be stored locally in a user's browser. This means the data persists even after the browser is closed or reopened. Example of this could be, let's say you have an e-commerce app. Now, user can just go in there and add items to cart. Now, when the user adds items to cart, you can store these items in the local storage of the browser. When the user closes the browser and then opens it again, as soon as you use the local storage, the items added to cart, which was stored in the local storage, will still be there. But in the session storage, it is off. So session storage means when a new tab is open, data can be stored for that session. When this tab closes, the session storage also gets cleared. So within the two, you decide which one you want to use. Do you want to persist the data after the browser is even closed, or you want to clear the data when the tab or the browser closes? Then you can choose between the local storage and the session storage. Now, with my extension of local and session storage, it has made it more easier to work with it. Why am I saying that? In this video, I'm going to prove to you the reason why I'm saying that my extension is the best. Let's have a look. Before we dive right into this, I do offer training sessions to people who are interested in .NET technologies, talking about Blazor, WebAssembly, interactive server, WebAssembly, auto, and etc. And Blazor hybrid and also Mari, Web API as well. I nearly forgot that. Yeah, so if you're interested in it, check the video description. I have an email in there. You can write to me through it. So we're going to create a project here for Blazor web app. Now this app can be used for all the interactive modes, WebAssembly, interactive server, WebAssembly, and also the auto render mode. Okay, so let's use the Blazor web app. And now here I have a project named Demo Blazor Local and Session Storage. So I'm going to click on Next to create this. When I'm done with this, the source code of this project will be available at GitHub. So if you want to grab it and review, you can just check the video description and you're going to find it in there. Okay, so let's create this project. Now I have interactive server in here selected. You can choose WebAssembly, you can choose auto. It works, and any of the mode that you're going to choose. Let's click on create to get this project created. So now that we have the project created, what we're going to do here is we're going to install these two packages. Actually, the extensions of these two packages have the same interface, but different implementation. So whilst we look at one, you can use the same thing to the other one. That's the reason why I'm combining local storage and our session storage together. If you understand one, you can use the same concept and apply it to another one. It's very simple. Okay. So let's have a look. Right click on dependencies and now let's manage NuGet packages. We're going to install these two packages. Click on the browse tab and here type in netcode. So here we're going to install session storage and now the local storage as well. So while this is being searched, let me take this opportunity to actually explain more to you. Now with this package or with these two packages that we have, you can decide to protect it. Now, if I talk about protection, it's about encryption. So the content that you want to store in the session or the local storage, this app is it has a feature to encrypt it only if you want to. If you don't want to, it has a way of also implementing it. So you can use protected and now unprotected. Okay, I'm going to show you again. So now that we have this, these are the packages that Netcode-Hub has for now. Okay, so I've made a video on any of this. So if you haven't watched any, if you don't know how to use any of this, check the description. I'll put the playlist in there. You can just watch any and follow it. Okay, so this time around, you want to install these two packages: Netcode-Hub.packages.extensions.local storage. So let's install this package first. The current version here is 1.0.0. Click on install and get this project installed. With this package installed, yes. So this has been installed. Now let's also install the other one, and that is a session storage. The same 1.0.0. Okay, so these packages have been installed successfully. If you want to actually check, we can go to our project in here, check our dependencies, packages, and we're going to find these two packages in here. Let's build this project to make sure that everything is in line, and then we proceed on the next stage. So now the project has built successfully. What we're going to do here is we're going to add the service of this to the program.cs. So go to program.cs file, and in here, let's first add a namespace. So this is going to be using Netcode-Hub.packages.extensions. We have local storage, and now we're going to make a duplicate of this and change this to session storage. So after adding these namespaces, we're going there to add a service. So we're going to say builder.services.add Netcode-Hub local storage service. Then another one for session storage service. So add these two services. If you want to actually use only local storage, then you add a local storage service. If you want to use a session storage, then use a session storage service in here. Okay, now that we are done in here, what we're going to do is let's go to our component pages, then home.razor. We're going to add this in there. Before that, let's make this page as interactive. So let's set this render mode as interactive server. Okay, and let's using Netcode-Hub.packages.extensions.local storage. Then we do same for the session storage as well. Aside from that, let's inject local storage service. Let's say this is local storage. Then we do the same for the session storage. So iSessions storage service. Then we have here session storage service. So we have the two interfaces here injected. Now in here, let's have our code section in here. We're going to have a button. So maybe let's have this button. So in here, this is what we are doing. You can see that we are having a button in here, and we have it as unclick. So the name here is set string. So you want to set this string to the local storage. And now here we're going to say local storage dot. So this interface has a lot of implementations, as you can see from here. Now you want to take it one by one. So first of all, you want to save, let's say, so dot save item as string async. So this interface is, or this method is used to save only a string to the local storage. So let's say this is Netcode-Hub. Okay, so we are saving this. You must have an await. So it's saving as a string. So you pass in the key and now you pass in the content. That is all. So when you save this, let's run this and check it out. Alright, so the app is ready. Now I'm going to increase this. Right click on this, go to inspect element. Now we're going to set item to local storage. So you choose for application. Then we can have local storage in here. So if I click on this, you will see that we have the key, then we have the content in here. You see? So we can now set item to local storage. Now this is just a string. So we pass in and that is all. Pass in the key and the content and off you go. Okay. Now let's see. The next one is we want to get the same string. So in that there's also an endpoint, and that is what get item as string async. All that you need to do here is pass in the key. And now with this, we need to set. So this is going to return a string. So with this string, as you can see, it's going to return a string. So we have to create a property in here. And that is going to be string content. And now let's specify this content here. So we call the output of this method is going to be stored or assigned to this. Now let's save this. And now let's reload this application. Alright, so let's see. Now if I click on get string, we have to retrieve the value from the local storage using the key that we provided. So we have to retrieve this Netcode-Hub and I'll display it in here. So you can see we are having this in here. So that's the local storage. You can see here isn't this local storage. Now let's have a look on the session storage. The same thing. We can also have the same method for the session storage. Okay. So with this, we can just grab this. Or even with this set string, instead of save as string async, or instead of using this local storage service, we're going to use session storage. And it has the same method. So instead of setting this item to the local storage, it's going to set it to the session storage. Now the same thing applies to this one. We want to retrieve it from the session storage. So it is possible by using this session storage. Because it is very simple. You see, they are similar. Yes. Let's review this and apply. And now let's have a look on that. Okay, so right click on this, go to inspect elements, and the same application. We go to instead of local, we now go to session. Click this. So currently you can see key and then the value is empty. Set string. Now you can see it is here in the session storage. Get string, you can see we have it in here. So you can see it is the same. Just that here, if I open a new tab with this, let's say I copy this. If I open a new tab in here and now access the content of this, right click on this and go to inspect element, go to session. So application, go to session, you can see here it is off, right? Nothing is there. But let's change this to local. We're going to change this to local. So this is local in here. And let's change this. Now let's rerun this. So now have a look. I'm going to right click on this. Now we're going to use the local storage. So from the application, This must be here because you're going to be using it most. Now set string to local storage session. So local. Now we have this in here. I'm going to copy this, open the new tab, and now access this. So right click, go to the same inspect element, then go to application and session. Look, I can see the local storage, it is still there, right? So that is the difference between the local and the session. Session gets cleared as soon as you close the tab, but local persists. It's still there. So based on this, you choose what you want to do with. Okay, so let's go to the next one. That is setting item as string for both local and session. The same thing applies to encryption. If you want to protect this, maybe you don't want this key or this value to be seen or to be read by the user, both the session and now the local. How are we going to do it? It's the same method that we're going to be using, but this time we're going to twist a little bit. Let's have a look. So with this, for encrypting, or for this encrypted one, instead of this, we're going to save or use another one. So dot save as encrypted string async. So this method is going to encrypt it, then the same thing. Okay, we're going to encrypt this content and I'll get it saved in the local storage. Now, if I want to get it, I have to use the same local storage. So get item as encrypted. So let's see. So get encrypted item as string async. Now let's have a look. So now we are in the local storage. I'm going to click on set string. Now you can see it has encrypted the Netcode-Hub to this. Now see, get string, it has now, it's going to decrypt this and I convert it into a normal string and I'll display it in here. It's working. Let's have a look on the next one. And this is going to be the session storage, right? So for session storage, let's set this to session, as you know. Save this and I'll rerun this. So now let's check this out too. We're going to encrypt the content and now save to session storage. Now that is the session storage in here. We're going to set string and now it has been encrypted. So when it checks the local storage, you can see it is the same thing. Session storage is the same thing in here. And now get string, and this is getting from the session storage. Yeah, you see this is nice, isn't it? So it has skipped all the stress that you need to go through to encrypt this and also decrypt it and do a whole lot. Okay, it's made for you. Now let's go to the next one. Now what if in case you have a model and you want to save it to local storage? So normally if you want to save a model to local storage, you know, local storage or session storage cannot hold objects or models. So you need to convert it into a string, and now within the string you can now save it in there. You can decide to encrypt the string or save it unprotected way. Okay, so let's have a look. Now I have a model known as an entity. It has ID, name, and email. Now I want to create an instance of this. So here I'm going to create entity, and now entity is equal to new. Okay, now I'm going to say entity, not this one, I want the instance. So entity.id, and this ID is 1. Then I have entity.name. So we have entity.id, and that is 1. That is this one. Let's say we're going to also have same entity.name. And this name is Netcode-Hub. So we have the next one, entity.email, and let's say this is netcode-hub@gmail.com. So we have this model created. We have instance initiated in here. And now within that we have values for each of the property in it. You see this? Okay. So now that we have this one, let's see, we have, there is a task. Okay, so this must be in an async task, and let's say set model. So we create a method as set model. Okay, and let's also have, so in that we have this class initiated outside of this. So entity, new entity. And now what is it saying? This could not be found. Yes, because it's supposed to be here. Okay. Else, what again? So could not be found in here. Yeah, it is found now. Okay. So now with this, aside from that, we can have async task get model. Okay. And now with this get model, we're going to have a class to handle that. Okay, so first of all, let's set this. So you want to set this to local storage, and you want to set this to maybe session storage as well. Okay, so you're going to say that await local storage service dot set, not even save item. You can see from here we have save item as model async. So now within this one, it needs two parameters. It needs a key, and that is a key. And now it needs the t value, and that is an entity that we're talking about. So let's make sure this is not there, because that's not what we want. Okay, so that is all. Now we want to get this, so we can just copy this. We say local storage service dot get item, what here? Item as model async. Okay, so in here it needs a t value because it's going to convert this. So t value here, it is an entity. And what is the key? The key is the key. So this is the key. Now this must be an await, and now it's going to return a t value. So when you check this, it's going to return t value. This one, you see, so that's an entity. So with this entity, we must assign this entity in here. Okay, so entity is equal to the output of this. We assign it in here. So first of all, let's get this. Let's set to local storage. Then we're going to run this again, and I'll make sure we get it from the local storage. Now with this entity, let's come here, UI, and now let's display. So I'm going to duplicate this for the sake of you going to GitHub to grab it. That's the reason why I'm commenting them. Okay, for review. So I'm commenting this one, and the next one here, that is a set model and a get model. So copy this, and that is set model. Then we have get model. Okay, and now we want to display the content here. So we're going to say that at entity dot id. Okay, then we have that name, so we can put this in a span. We're going to have a class. Maybe we can put this in a div. Let's have maybe margin 2, padding 3. We have our div. Then this container here is going to surround this. Okay, so maybe you're going to have our ID. Then at the end, we're going to break this. We're going to have the name. So I have to just grab this. Okay, so this is going to be name. Then you have the email. Okay, so we have ID, name, and email, and that is what we are going to display in there. So you grab this, and this is email. Okay. All right. So we have this, and let's run this and see. So you can see that when the app initializes, ID is 0, name is null, and email is null because you haven't set anything to local storage. Now we open the local storage, and now we're going to set this model. It's going to convert into a string, and now save it in here. Let's remove the old one. Now if I click on this set model, you can see we have it in here. So ID, now you can see you have the ID, the name, and now the email, right? Good. Now from this get model, it has already assigned it in here. So that's what we can do. We can create another instance here, this empty one, and assign this. Let's say this. Let's assign this with this one. Then, okay. So this entity, that's what we assign it to the response. All right. Now we can rerun this and check it out. Okay, so if I check the local storage, you can see we have content there already. We have this. Now if I click on get model, you're going to get this one and I display it in here. So get model, we have an issue here. Let's have a look. So await. Okay, so this is an encrypted item as, we don't want this encrypted for now. So you want this get item as model async. Okay, so let's check it out. Get model. And I could see we have it. Okay. Now out of the encryption, yeah, we've done that already. So you can actually try your hands on it. Okay. So quickly, this is what you need to do. So save. Let's have it well. Oh. Yeah, so save as. I think I need to make a choice from this. So you can see we have save as. Encrypted string, we don't want that. You want save as encrypted item as model async. We specify here the t value, and that is a custom. Is a custom or entity. So entity, and now we're going to specify the key and now the value in here. Now the same thing applies to this one. So we have get encrypted item as model async, specify the t value, and that is it. You're good to go. Save this, rerun this. So now we are going to encrypt this. Now I'm going to clear this off. Click on set model, and I could see it has been encrypted. As you can see from here, get model, it is going to be decrypted, and now we're going to have the content. Okay. The same thing applies to session storage. So we can just copy this. And now we're going to, let's set this. So once you have this local storage, so we want to have session storage. That's what we want. Okay. So we have entity here already, so we need not to use the same entity. Okay, so you can see from here we are using a session storage, and that is this one. That is it. Let's check it out. So we go to the session, and now we're going to click. Let's open the session and leave the local storage. So set model, you see that it's encrypted, and now get is getting from the session. Okay. So we have one method or one interface in this left, and that is the list. Okay. So let's say when you have an e-commerce, if you have anything that you want to be adding, creating a list, and now keep the list in the local storage or the session storage. While the new data comes in, this list will be updated and now be kept in the local storage or the session storage. I added this feature for you as well. Okay. So let's see how to work with that. So within this is what we need to do. As you can see, we have a list of entities, and that is the model that we created. Aside from that, when the button is click set list model, as you can see, we assign values to the properties in this list. Aside from it, you can see local storage.add item to list. So here, you haven't declared any list. List is going to declare automatically by the t value that you're going to provide in here. Okay, so you're going to have a list. Now, if it is the first time of you adding to local storage, it's going to check if it is available. If we have any list available, it's going to get it and add the current one to the list, and also assign it again. In case it does not get any list, it's going to instantiate this one, create a new list, add your model to the list, and now assign. So all these works are done for you. All that you need to do here is to call local storage service.add item to list, specify the t value, specify the key, and add the model that you want to do. So let's say this is an e-commerce app, and the person has clicked on to add this item to the cart. All that you need to do here is specify the item, the model, the key, and add the current content or the model or the cart item, and now assign it. Don't forget about the list is going to be created automatically for you, okay, by using this package. That's nice. Let's try our hands on this. Now, aside from that, you see we are getting the list from the local storage. So we get the list, specify the t value. It's going to create a list. You're going to get the list from the local storage and assign it in there as a list to this list that we have created. Okay, and here we are looping through this. As you can see, if it is not equal to null, we are going to loop through and now display the item in the list. So when you have 3 items in that list, you're going to get them displayed. All right, let's save this and now let's run it and check it out. So right click on this, go to inspect elements, and in here from the application, local storage, we're going to clear this. And if I click on this set item to the list, so you can see we have a list in here. That is the first one. If I click on it again, let's say I have another one that if I click on it again, let's see. So you can see it has been added. Click, you can see it has been added, or it keeps adding the same item to the list. If I click on get list, you can see we have all the items in here. It loops through them, and now it set a model for each. That's the t value, and now it populates it and I return. So if I click on set again, if I click on get, you must have one added. Set, get, another added. Set, get, another added. As you can see, the list here also updates automatically as soon as you click on this. Yes, so that is this one. Let's have a look on the session storage. How do you implement the same thing in the session storage? So in that, it is the same. Okay, I'm going to comment this one, and I'll uncomment this, because this is the session storage. It is the same thing, the same endpoint that we are using. Change it to the service that we created, and that is all. Let's run this and check it out. Let's switch to the session storage from the application tab, session storage, and now in here, set list. You see we have it in here from the session, and I can add more, and now get, I have the same thing. That's the same. Okay, now let's see. The next one is the protected. Can we protect this list? Yes, we can. Let's have a look. So when we check here, we have the same thing. So local storage service.add item to encrypted list. This is going to encrypt it, and now we say local storage service.get encrypted item list. So it's going to also get the same thing. As you can see, all that you need to do here is specify the t value and now the key. Very simple. Okay, let's check this one out. So from the local storage, now we're going to encrypt the list. So let me clear this one. Now set, you see it has been encrypted. It is encrypted. Have you seen? Yes. So set encrypted, and we keep adding. Now get, decrypt it, and I get the same content. Yes. Very simple too. Let's see from the session storage. So I'm going to comment this one, then uncomment this, because this one is a session, and just erasing the session here. That is all. Let's build this. So let's see. Now I'm going to clear this one. You go to the session, and that is this. Click on this. We have it in here. Okay, so with this, we did not use the encryption. Watch, have you seen? Yes. So all that we need to do here is we have to specify this, get encrypted, and that is all. So let's inspect application and now session storage. So you can see it's encrypted. Now keep adding, click on get list, and we have all the lists in here. Here you cannot read, it's encrypted. Yes. Okay. Now so I think we have some left. Yes. Let's see. I'm going to comment this. We also have one method that is known as get count. So for that, you can have your async task. Then this is get count. So within this, you can have await local storage service dot get count. Let's see if we have get count async. Okay, so this get count async, what you need to do here is specify the t value, and that is entity, and I specify the key, and here the key is the key. So let's remove this one. And now this is going to return an integer. When you check this, so we need to, let's say this is count, and now we're going to assign this count in here. Okay, so get count is going to get count from the local storage, and I'll add it. Now you can also do same for the session storage. So get session storage count, and now with this we're going to have session storage get items count. It's going to work. Okay, and last one we have async task, and that is delete item. So delete item, all that you need to do here is await local storage service dot delete item, and now this item needs a key, so specify the key. This is going to get it deleted. And we also have one, and that is known as clear all. So clear storage. So here we have clear storage. So with this, we need to use dot clear all. So dot clear all item async. And with this, you don't need to specify key. Okay, you don't need any key here. Now the same thing applies to the local session storage. You can also delete item. So maybe you can make it local item, and this is clear local storage, and you can also copy this and now paste it here, and now instead of the local, delete session storage. Yes, so this is going to also clear the session, and you make sure you change this to session. Yeah, that's what I need to do. Let's try one here and see. Let's try to get count from the local storage. So when this button is clicked, you want to get count. I'm going to comment this. Then on top here, I'm going to say at count. I'm going to say here count. Okay, so count is equal to this. Now this is get count. All right, now let's see. So let's run this and check this out. So you can see that the current count here, it is 0. Now if I click on this, go to inspect element, and here, let's see, application, and you go to local storage. Now nothing is here. Okay, so if I click on even get count, it is still 0. In case we have item set here, we're going to have it count in there. So let's quickly do that. And in here, there's also one, I forgot this, get encrypted item count. So that is this one, get encrypted item count, specify the T value, and that is all. So here, this is what you need to do. Now you cannot use local storage from the unprotected one, and now you want to get this. It won't work because it's going to decrypt it and now get a list out of this, while this doesn't need to be decrypted. So you make sure you use the right one for the right one. Okay, and that is get encrypted counts. So try your hands on this and thank me later on. Okay. Yes. Okay, so let's see. Now let's focus on this. We first have to, when the page loads, maybe we can call a service. So we're gonna have a button in this. There's gonna be an async task, add item to local, and await. You're gonna have local storage service dot, let's say, add item to list, add item to list. Now this list is specify the T value as entity, and now the key, it is a key. The content here, it is an entity 1. Entity 1, yes. Now this entity here is what we define here. So before we add, we can just grab this. Okay, let's uncomment. Now add item to local, copy this, and in here we can have a button, and I'll call this as add item to local. Okay, now let's run this. So you want to check whilst we add item or we set item to local storage. Application, local storage. So add item, we have it in here. Get count is 1. Add item again. This must be 2, right? Yeah, so we have 3 now. Get count is 3. Add item 4. Get count is 4. Get count 4 4. Add item 6 or 7. Yes, add item 8. Add item 13 or 11. Yes, so it's working. All right, so this package or these packages are useful, right? So try using these packages in your application to skip typing a lot of bunch of code to do this. If I've done already, and now get them used in your application. All right, thank you. When you use it and have any issue to put it at the comment section, and I'll attend to you. Also, you can just write to me through the email specified in this video description. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you want to grab this source code to check, review, check the video description. It will be available. All right, catch up again. Till then, take care.